Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I'm here with what sold this week on eBay and Poshmark. So I figured that the year would kind of start off pretty slow, it'd be a little bit of a January slowdown after the holidays. I didn't really see that, actually. Things have been pretty steady this whole week. So starting from January 1st on to January 7th, let's see what sold on eBay and Poshmark. Just note there are a couple of pretty good sales on here that are video games that I'm selling for a friend, and we've worked out a commission or whatever. So at the end of the video, when I talk about my profit this week, it's not going to include those items because, of course, I'm not actually seeing that profit, and that's kind of a different situation. But let's get into it. We'll talk about these items here. First item I sold this week and in this year was these new inbox JBL wireless headphones. And picked these up at a community yard sale nearby us earlier this year, and I picked them up for $5 and they sold. I did actually take an offer on these because I'd had them for a little while and I just wanted to make my first sale of the year, so I took an offer on these for $20 plus shipping. And then the next thing that sold was, speaking of video games, it was this Sydney Hunter for the Sega Master System, and this was a pretty good sale. This was a $200 video game plus shipping. So some of these old Master System games, Sega Genesis games, well, all of the old retro consoles can have some significant value. There are definitely games that aren't worth anything. This is one that is worth a good amount of money. Next up, this Atlanta Braves hat. It was a New Era hat, and it is brand new, fitted hat. Not much to say about it. Took an offer on this one. I've had some hats for a while, and I don't really mind letting them go pretty cheap because I get them at a very low buy cost, usually about $3. So sold this one for $14.50. I've had it for a while, so decided to let it go. Next up is this MEC, Mountain Equipment Co-op, MEC, men's hiking pants. These are 36 by 34. I haven't had these for very long, probably only about a month. Currently running a sale on eBay, running a promotion for activewear, so anything that I've put in my own store category of running and athletic, as well as pants, because I do have a lot of pants. So even though I haven't had these for a long time, I decided to include all of this stuff in the sale. I really just want to drum up business, so if some things go for less than whatever, right? It's all still profits. So these ones I sold for $20.90 plus shipping. And next up was this Bauer Team Canada IIHF hockey official practice jersey in a size large. I've had this for a while. You can tell from the background on that photo. This is when I was still hanging the clothes up here in my office. Just poor light, whatever. It did eventually sell. I would have only spent a couple dollars on this, and it sold for $25, so can't complain. Speaking of hockey, this is a more recent find. I haven't had this one for very long, maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks. And this was a really nice Montreal Canadiens knit pullover sweater. That big embroidered logo there on the front. This was a really nice quality piece in a men's large, and I typically wear a medium, although this probably would have fit me if I was a fan of the Montreal Canadiens, like if this was my team or whatever. I definitely would have kept this. This was a really nice quality sweater, and this sold for my full asking price of $49.87 plus shipping. Next up, I've had this for a long time. I bought a big box of DVDs back in the spring, so almost a year now, and the average buy cost on these DVDs was something like 40 cents or something like that. So this is The Simple Life Season 4 with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, and that sold for $5, and I'm just happy to see it go, even though I probably only made, like $1 on it. That's okay. Next up, this was a recent find. Within the last month, Jamie found this one. So this is Victoria's Secret Silk. That's the line. These are actually not even made of silk. They're polyester, and it says so on the tag, and I was sure to disclose that in the listing. But these are just a really nice, light, pajamas, sleepwear bottoms. in a purple. They sold to go into California, actually, for my full asking price of $29.87 plus shipping. And then next up were these Carhartt. These were some tan denim jeans. They were stained. They were very stained, actually. I've had these for a couple of months, but I knew that they would still sell. So my average buy cost, again, is like, around six something. I would have picked these up at worst case scenario for $7.19 after taxes at the store that I do most of my thrifting at for clothes. And I knew that they would sell, even messed up as they are. They just might take a little bit longer. And they did take a little bit longer, but probably not much more than a couple of months. And they sold for $25, so can't complain. Next up, this is the heavy hitter of the year so far. This is Conker's Bad Fur Day for N64, Nintendo 64. This is complete. This is one that I'm selling for that buddy of mine again. This is a cool piece. I would have really liked to have had this in my collection because I am collecting for the N64 and have a significant amount of games for it, but we couldn't work out a deal, and that's fine. I didn't want to pay what it was worth. This sold for $330 plus shipping, and we could have come up with a pretty good deal for me as basically the commission for selling that lot of games, but I still didn't want to drop probably a couple $100 on one game, even though it would have been a great deal. It just wasn't a responsible buy at the time, so didn't get it, but cool sale. Glad to see stuff like this going through my store, even though I don't get to keep that money. Next up is this LL Bean blue wide leg 100% linen drawstring lightweight pants in a size 8 petite. Didn't have these long at all. Linen in the winter, selling in the winter is strange, surprising, I guess, but it did sell, and it was a unique size, 8 petite, so a little bit different anyway. Not unique, I guess, but just different from a regular size. And they did sell for $16.99 plus shipping. Next up, this Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey number 7 whiskey, kind of mesh jersey, jersey style tee anyway. It's pretty cool. I've had this for quite a while now. I picked this up probably in the summer for $5. I knew that it would eventually sell, and it did go for my full selling price. I haven't dropped the price on this, or maybe I have, but in any case, I haven't dropped it in a while. And it did sell for my full asking price, as it was currently listed as $37.87. So not bad at all there. $5 into $38. I'll take that all day long. Next up is FootJoy. Again, this is one I've had for a while. You can tell from it being hung up like that and the backdrop. FootJoy, a long sleeve, kind of a mock neck, in an XL navy color. Really nothing special about it, but it did sell in the recent running and athletic promotion I've got going on. It sold for $18.65. Next up is another fairly recent find. That's when I was taking pictures on the floor, so it's a couple of months old, but still sold within 90 days. Picked this Under Armour Freedom, kind of eagle US flag, support the troops sort of a style tee. And you'll see here that I used the back, this big graphic, as like my main photo in the listing, because that was going to be more attractive, even though the other side, still had some cool stuff. This was the big kind of pull, the big lure to this item. So pick this up for around, average buy cost on this one was actually $6.21. T-shirts are only a little over $5, but it was obviously as part of a haul with some more expensive items, but it sold for $20. And One. Anybody remember And One? So I've actually found quite a bit of And One stuff, basketball brand, and these And One black and gray camo basketball shorts in a men's size XL sold for $14.90. I've had them for a while, and it is off season. They were part of the athletic sale, so they sold. That's cool. Glad to recoup a little bit of money on those. Next up is one that I'm actually still waiting for payment for, but it did sell within this last week, so I'm including it in this. It's this cool vintage 90s Nike windbreaker. And I like that blue, white, maroon colorway. You know, you can tell this is definitely in 90s or, you know, at latest like Y2K. But I looked this particular one up, and it did seem like this was in fact from the 90s from the info I looked up before I listed it rather. So it sold for 30 bucks. Again, still waiting for payment on that, but $30, can't complain. This next one is one that I've had for a while, and had I not picked it up for only $2.50 on a half-off day at Salvation Army, I probably would not have even bothered with it, but I knew that it was a vintage London Fog main coats, kind of like a pea coat sort of, I guess, trench coat sort of thing. And it just looked interesting at the time, and I thought, and I hadn't really gotten a lot of coats and stuff like that, or jackets at that point, because this was probably back in like late summer. And I was like, well, you know what, I'll grab this. This will be kind of an experiment. It did end up selling for $24.87 plus shipping. So on a $2.50 investment, really can't complain about that. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Next up is this Athleta. This is a gray, very light gray with a black kind of built-in sports bra, just a basic little tank. This was a recent pickup, but it's part of the promotion, so I'll let it go and still double up my money, or just about. And this sold for $13.99. And another $13.99 was this Boys in the Hood t-shirt. I've had this for a while as well. I found like 3 Boys in the Hood t-shirts back in the summer at the same store at the same time, so they obviously came in on the same shipment, and I picked them all up and have sold a couple so far, including this one. $5 into 14, not huge money, but can't complain. This is the first time I found Cotopaxi, and I was so pumped to find this recently. This was within the last month, and it was part of a big haul. And so I did accept an offer on this one. I think I had it listed for around $70 plus shipping. I accepted an offer of $57 on this, mainly because the offer came from the US, and when I sell to the US, fees are typically much lower because the way eBay calculates its fees is it's on the total, including taxes and whatnot, and it seems like, tax rates are just generally much lower, and I don't know. It seems like I can accept a little bit less money and still make as much. So I accepted an offer of $57. This had an average buy cost. It was part of a lot. $5.66 into $57 plus shipping. That is a great flip, and I was just so pumped to pick up Cotopaxi. I did not bother looking up comps. It was in good shape, and yeah, sold that. Another one from that DVD lot that I picked up back in the spring and have a very, very small cost of goods on is this new and sealed Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring DVD. It sold for $6.16. Another decent game sale here for that friend. This is a Rocket Knight Adventures. This is a really cool Sega Genesis game. This one did have printed artwork, so I was sure to put that in the description as well. But this sold for $50 plus shipping, so pretty good flip there. And the last sale is this Eileen Fisher kind of, I didn't really know how to describe this. It took a little bit to even look this up and know how to list this. It was a very wide, really tapered out to a wide bottom, but words like coat topper or jacket topper seemed to do the trick. That's what others had put. Used login look as part of the description. Others had seemed to have put something like that. It was an interesting piece, and in fact it was just picked up within a little over a week ago, because it was in that first thrift haul video that I put up a week ago. So yeah, that was a quick sale, and that sold for $35 on Poshmark. That was my only Poshmark sale so far this year. But Not too bad. So it seems like sales are still, coming along very nicely in the new year. Not much of a January slowdown so far. Maybe people are just spending their Christmas money. But I did a little bit of math, so I'll just look off to the side here. So my income, my actual cash flow after fees and shipping on all of these items, minus the video games that aren't actually my items that I'm selling. So all the clothing items and those DVDs and the headphones. So anything that is actually mine. I had a cash flow this week of $323.67. And I tallied up my buy cost and backed it out for all of those items. And it was $219.33 profit this week. So for a little side hustle, that's not bad. $220 pure profit in a week for, not that many sold items. I don't know what that was, 15 or something like that. I'll take it. And yeah, onward and upward. I am going to do one of these videos every week, get it out so that you know what is actually selling. I can do thrift hauls and that's cool, but unless I actually list things, get the videos up and show what's sold and keep track of it like I am doing, I'm not really knowing what I'm making for a profit. So on this channel, I'm going to be all about transparency, show those actual numbers, and if I make bad buys and make losses and do stupid things, I'll tell you that as well. But it seems like a pretty successful first week of the year, so thanks very much for watching along. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about here or any of the items that I sold, by all means leave it in the comments below, and we will see you in the next one, guys. Peace.